Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and online violin tutor. So this is part 4 of learning to play the violin as an adult, and this is technical difficulties. But before we get into this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel and comment underneath the video, as it does help with the YouTube algorithms to help get my YouTube channel out there a little bit more. I'd also just quickly like to make everyone aware that I have a Patreon page, and for just $5 a month you'll gain access to my complete back catalogue of almost 1,000 pieces of violin sheet music, which are added to on a weekly basis, as well as MP3 backing tracks for the violin performance covers, and some easy piano music as well that cover literally every genre from Chopin to Adele and everything in between. If you are interested, further details on my Patreon page can be found in the link just under here, and I will also put a link underneath this video and in the comments as well. So first off, one should realise that playing the violin is hard AF. Now, I recently did a video on this of why the violin is so difficult and what makes it so difficult, but rest assured, the violin is really, really difficult. Arguably one of the most difficult instruments out there, and I know I've just offended everybody else that plays a completely different instrument, but you know, suffice to say, the violin is particularly challenging. There is no denying that, and you know, on a serious note, I know all instruments are very difficult. The violin is a particularly difficult one, so recognize that and stop giving yourself a hard time from it. There's lots going on there. The holding of the instrument, intonation, getting your fingers in the right place, posture, bowing, finger. There is lots going on here, so you know, give yourself a break with it. I think a lot of people compare themselves, or a lot of adults will compare themselves to children, and the violin or learning an instrument is very stigmatized with learning it as a child. And if you're not 4 years old and you're learning it and you're 5 years old, you can't possibly be a professional musician because you've missed the 4-year-old window of having to learn to play the violin. God forbid if you're 22 and you're learning the violin, there's no way that you can take it on a career. Absolute nonsense. Again, I've made a video discussing all of this, and I'm, you know, horrified at some of the comments that people will say to me saying, you know, I'm 34 years old and I want to play the violin, and my family have just made a massive joke out of it and said that I can't take it on as a career. Absolute hogwash. Comments like that really wind me up. So I did make a video on that a short while ago, and I will link it underneath this video if you want to go and check that one out. But yeah, the only difference between playing as a child and playing as an adult is that I think as an adult you're more aware. So when you are a child, you are just less aware of what is going on around you and in the world, and that's fine because you're a child and you're not meant to be aware of anything, are you? Just, you know, meant to just do as you're told, go along through life until you get to an adult, then you have those responsibilities. But if I was completely blindfolded and I had two students standing in front of me, one was an adult beginner and one was a child beginner, and they were both playing and I didn't know which one was which, they would both sound as horrendous as each other. A child learning the violin sounds horrendous. An adult learning the violin also sounds horrendous. They are the same amount of horrendousness. It doesn't matter whether you are an adult or a child. It's still, a beginner violinist is still going to sound awful. We all know that, and we've all been there, okay? But the difference is when you're a child, you are less aware. You're less aware of how frustrating something is. You're less aware of, you know, you're just less aware of everything, whereas an adult, you are old enough to know better. So an adult, you've been through life, you are aware of things, obviously, but because you are an adult. So for you, it is much more frustrating because you are aware of what the violin should sound like, whereas with a child, they just think less about those kind of things and just do more things that they're told. So, you know, when I teach children, they don't sort of they don't question things so much. So I don't mean that in a bad way, just I will say to a child, okay, that wasn't so great, but if we do this, this and this, it will make it so much better. And they will go away and they will make those improvements the following week. And then they'll come back that following week and I'll be, okay, brilliant, well done, that's good. But now maybe we can do this, this and this to improve it even further. And then they will go away and they will have done that and improve it even. And that's how we kind of move on with things. And they don't really, you know, question how sort of necessarily how bad they sound. But I think just as an adult, we are just more aware, and we're just more audibly aware of things. So it is more frustrating to play as an adult for sure, but when it comes to learning, comparing an adult to a child, there is no difference. There is absolutely no difference. I've taught hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, adults, children, and everything in between, throughout my entire teaching career. I've been teaching for over 20 years, so 25 odd years, let's say 25 years. So I've taught a lot of students in my time, and there's no difference, in my personal opinion, there's no difference to me teaching a child than there is to teaching an adult. Like I say, I've covered this in the video that I'll link underneath here, but in terms of technical difficulties, both find it just the same. I've taught children that have picked up the violin very, very quickly. I've taught adults that have picked up the violin very, very quickly. I've taught children that are not picking it up very quickly, and the same with adults. So I personally do not believe age has anything to do with this, and this is partly kind of drips into the whole, am I too old to learn to play the violin? Just no, just park that aside. You're not too old to play the violin. There is nothing to do with it. As I said in that video, to nutshell it, I basically just said you need 5 years. You need 5 years to get yourself to a good, decent intermediate level. You need 10 years to become a master at the instrument. So, for example, 5 years if you want to get to a point where you can pretty much play whatever you like. You know, you're technically competent. You can play whatever you like. You're sounding pretty decent. You're sounding pretty good. Most people would be jealous and impressed. You could even, you know, join a band, be making some money out of it that way. So that would be 5 years of time. Now, if you are 5 years old and you're doing that, by the time you reach the age of 10, you are going to be at that level. You're not going to be at that place in life where you're going to be out earning money as a 10-year-old. But you see what I mean. If you are 25 and you're starting at that age, by the time you are 30, yeah, why not? Why can't you be playing in a band? Why can't you be playing at weddings? Why can't you be playing at gigs? Absolutely no reason why you can't be doing that. Then I said it takes you 10 years to become a master or a pro, i.e. someone that would then be competent enough to teach it to other people. So that generally takes you around about 10 years to do that. So again, if you start at 20, by the time you're 30, nothing to stop you going into a school and teaching it to other people, or starting your own private music school, you know, whatever. If you are 50, by the time you are 60, you are able to do that. The only argument with that comes in at the fact that, you know, you're 60 and then you're kind of reaching more a kind of retirement level, and maybe you don't want to start a career at that point. But, you know, you don't have to start a career. I was just simply saying that 5 years to become a good, decent intermediate level, and there's nothing wrong with that. So if you start at 60, by the time you get to 65, you're going to be good. You're going to be at an A-OK level. But, you know, whether you'll want to take that further and be move it on professionally or not would then, you know, kind of be up to you. But that was what I was saying about you know, being an adult and age and things. So the technical difficulties, I don't think, you know, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, it doesn't matter. It's just, you know, recognize that the violin is just really, really hard, you know, and just keep at it. So I hope this video has helped you. If you've got any questions or comments or anything, leave them in the description underneath. I love to read all your comments and your feedback and things like that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.